A delay in the death penalty trial of notorious accused killer Russell Tillis. Now, the judge in Tillis's case reluctantly agreed to push his trial date back to May. Now, Tillis is accused of killing Joni Lynn Gunter and burying her in the backyard of his home, a home that neighbors once called a house of horrors. The trial, which has previously been delayed 5 times, was scheduled to begin in 2 weeks. Now, the circuit court judge, Mark Borrello, he expressed frustration with the need to postpone it once again. He blamed Tillis himself, who has cycled through roughly a dozen different attorneys and filed bar complaints against several. But he said he would agree to the delay because it is a death penalty case. The new trial set to start on May 11th.